What's up, bros and hoes, whatever floats your goat? It's Relentless here, bringing you yet another Division build video. As always, don't forget to check out the links in the description below. An awesome giveaway currently going on for a PS4 Pro or the newly announced Xbox One X. That will be the first place prize. The second place prize is a game of choice, and the third place prize is a limited edition Revolution Gaming Hot Fresh t-shirt. So don't forget to click on the Gleam link in the description below. Also, don't forget to check out Revolution Gaming. Awesome, greatest, most positive, non-toxic Facebook community out there on all things gaming, not just Division. Whether it be you need help with builds on Division or running incursions, there's always someone there to lend a helping hand. If you need someone to help matchmake, such as on Call of Duty, Battlefield, play Friday the 13th with, Destiny, you name it, there's always somebody there willing to help out, and you can squad up such easily because everybody's so nice and such available to help you and accommodate you with whatever you may need. But anyways, without further ado, let's hop right into this video. Now, getting started, now most people haven't seen too many videos on this, and I've been really liking the pecan, especially on light zone content or incursion wise or things of that nature, especially, you know, if you're running with a healer. But it puts out a lot of damage. It does good for PvP situations, but more or less on the PvE side when it comes to, like I said, light zone or incursions or daily missions or whatnot. It completely shreds NPCs. But let's hop right into it. I'm running a vigorous chest piece, nice armor roll in 1998, good firearms roll with exotic damage resilience and health, and in the minor attributes, 51% ammo capacity in the stamina mods, 262 firearms, 3266 health, and another 262 stamina and 2861 health. Moving on to the mask, Lone Star mask, 1252 in firearms, 975 in armor. I wish that armor value was up closer to its maximum at 1001. Major attributes is 9,587 skill power and plus 11% damage to elites. And in the mod slot, 260 stamina and 1% crit hit chance. Now I have rolled hundreds and hundreds of mods trying to get a high stamina roll with skill power on it or additional health, but preferably a large stamina roll with a skill power, so that way I can get this skill power up. I'm pretty sure those out there have mods that have a high stamina roll with skill power, so that way you can get your skill power up to at least 150 and your toughness stay the way it is with an adequate amount and efficient enough firearms to completely shred with practically any LMG out there. And in the knee pads, 1629 awesome armor roll, 1256 in firearms, 12,559 in skill power. Minor attributes, burn resistance, damage to elites, and disrupt resistance. If I chose to run this in the PvP side, in the dark zone, then I would want something other than damage to elites and disrupt resistance, such as shock resistance for damage to elites, and also bleed resistance in those minor attributes, and then they would be perfect. Moving on to the backpack, 1269 in firearms, 1308 in base armor, great values there. And the major attributes, 13,257 health, minor attributes, 16% bleed resistance. And the mod slots, 261 stamina with 3217 health, and 2 first aid self heals at 6%. Now, if you wanted to go such as a glass cannon build, more or less, you can swap out these health rolls for extra crit damage. But just know you would have to roll crit chance also on your holster, and you have the crit chance on your gloves, and then on what attachments you can acquire crit chance with on an LMG, but you're not going to create that high of a crit hit chance on an LMG or shotgun unless you're running such talents as Adept, Fierce, things along that nature, and then you can hit a high crit build with an LMG, and then you can completely decimate. So that is one thing I'm working on, trying to get the right LMG. I prefer the Pecan or the L86 because they're more along the lines of an AR. I don't like the belt fed, such as the Hungry Hog or the M60 or the Para 249. That's just not my thing. I prefer something more along the lines of an AR, but my preferred gun is an SMG, as you already know. But moving on to the gloves, 1230 in firearms, 999 in armor, good armor roll with LMG damage, enemy armor damage, and crit hit chance. Moving on to the holster, decent holster, 990 in base armor, 1263 in firearms, 1262 in stamina, and 1229 in electronics. And the major attributes is 7298 in health and 6% first aid self-heal. Now let's get on to the weapons. I'm running the Bakan. As you can see, the base damage is 24.8 with deadly, destructive, and of course the Bakan talent. Each kill makes the next reload have 20% extra bullets compared to its base. And the mod slots for this weapon, 111% magazine size, crit hit chance, 5.2% rate of fire. And the optics, 7.5% crit hit chance, 5.5% headshot damage, 4% crit hit damage. And the large muzzle, crit hit damage, headshot damage, crit hit chance, which is the trifecta. And then the secondary, since Lone Star runs hand in hand with LMGs and shotguns, I chose as a secondary my SASG-12, which is also I refer to as the Sausage, with brutal, responsive, and competent. And the magazine size, 119.5% reload magazine size, reload speed, rate of fire, 16.5% accuracy, crit hit chance, crit hit damage, small underbarrel, optimal range, reload speed, and crit hit damage. And that does not seem right, because in this, it should be this one right here. I thought something was a little off, because as you can see, I love my optimal range when it comes to the Black Market Sausage. 49% on the underbarrel, and then you get another 24.5% on the small optics, which is a hefty almost 75% additional optimal range. So that way you can actually hit people at range, such as the distance as a LMG with optimal range on it, as you can see the range meter on the stat bar above. Now let's get into the actual character sheet itself. 20.5% crit hit chance, which is pretty good for an LMG. 61% crit hit damage and 112% headshot damage. As you see, in the armor damage, 22.5%, and damage to elites is 25%. Skill power 130.2, which is on the lower side of things. But like I said, if you're running incursions, then I'm pretty sure you're going to have a skill build, a healer in your group. So therefore, you know, he can dish out the heals and help you with having low and mediocre skill power while you dish out the damage and take care of those pesky NPCs or light zone bosses or incursion bosses or whatever the case may be. Survivability, 217.6k is my health pool, and my armor, 33.4% mitigation, which is really fantastic as well. But let me show you here on this dummy exactly what damage you do with this weapon. You're critting for 44.6k. Non-crit is 27.7k. Headshot, 58.6k headshot. That's without crit. And 75.5 with crit. So if you're accurate with your shots, you can easily just wreak complete damage and wreck somebody. And with all that ammo in your magazine, and then when you reload, it just keeps getting more and more. And you're also hitting, you know, adequate enough crits. So this weapon and this build can wreak out a lot of damage on NPCs. And also, if you're having the right team in the dark zone, then it can also wreak out a lot of damage in PvPing if you play it right and you have adequate enough footwork, and you're not constantly getting circle jerked and hip fired by SMGs. Make sure you create that space using grenades, cover, or whatever the case may be, so that way you create that distance, because you have more or less lower RPMs than what most people will be running in the DZ, but you do have the exotic damage resilience, enough base health pool to withstand those pesky seeker mines or get away from flame turrets, because we all know you got to break your line of sight from those things. Toss a grenade, shoot them, whatever you can, and then just wreak havoc and dish out the damage. And then for up close incursions, you just whip out the old sausage and just bend them over and give it to them prison style. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. This is just something a little different than what most people are putting out there on the YouTubosphere. I don't see too many people running Lone Star that often, so I just figured I would put together what pieces that I had And of course, as you all know, I like running the Pecan, and I've been running light zone bosses, and this is just a complete beast. I can mow down pretty much any NPC or named boss by myself. I actually completed Warrengate Power Plant on hard difficulty, just with one other person. And then last night, actually, it was a 3-man team. We actually did Warrengate Power Plant on Legendary, and we coasted right through it. Of course, one was a healer build, then we had one was a balanced Firecrest build, and then of course you had me with this build that I run right here. So thank you so much for watching. Ground and pound that like and subscribe button. Let me know what kind of builds you're running out there, or what kind of builds you want to see me, theory craft or try to throw together. Because, it's just more or less the same. I see a lot of 3-piece tactician with Savage and Specialized and Vigorous out there, or even Reckless, such as Reggie Merc uses, and it really wrecks. There's a lot of 3-and-3 builds, but more or less, I see a lot of Skull builds. Be sure to check out that build in the in my other build videos. It was the last recent one that I just put out there. It was, I'll show you the build that it was. It was my mixed match right there. As you can see, it does wreak out a lot of damage, and it has a lot of survivability. And the other builds that I tend to run in the PvP or a Dark Zone, I'll flip through them, and you can check out the channel for the build videos on them. But this is your boy Relentless. Don't forget to check out the links in the description below. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you all for the support, and we'll see you guys fudging later. And there's a flex for the hand.